All right, I wanted to do a quick little how-to guide on tracking food that you didn't cook. And so I had quite a few clients ask me this week, especially as we have the holidays, Christmas, New Year's coming up, whether you're visiting family or having family come stay with you and you are not the person in charge of cooking. So whether you're going out to a restaurant, getting takeout, anything like that, social event, it is a really common sticking point because it creates a lot of uncertainty. So if you don't know exactly what is in something, it's really easy to spiral into overthinking, guessing, or just not tracking it all and then feeling like you messed everything up. And so I first want to just say that this is a part of real life. And so learning how to track these situations with confidence is a skill for lifetime success. And it's not something you need to avoid or be stressed about. So remember, everything that we do here, it is not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about progress. And so trying to show up even if you are not the one in control, which I know can be very difficult for high achieving women, type A women like us. And so I think it's really important with the goal of tracking is that we have a little bit of context before we dive into the tactical how-tos. And so we want to first, again, reset those expectations. So we just talked about, again, the goal is not perfection. And so tracking is just about creating reasonable estimates, and this is not exact numbers, and that's really, really important. And so we're not trying to be obsessive. We're not trying to stress really, really hard over, being as accurate as possible. It's just trying to show up when the conditions aren't perfect. So our goal is just, again, to estimate, to do this without being obsessive with the best information we have, and we want to really avoid that all or nothing mindset. So remember, progress is built from trends over time, not just one single meal here and there. So again, we don't need to be exact, we just need to be close enough. And so if you're within 10 to 15%, like, you're doing this right. And so that level of accuracy is enough to continue to support fat loss and long-term results. So let's dive into the 3 different options. So step 1 is we can look for existing nutrition information. So this is, if you're eating out, but also just if you're sitting down and you just don't want to dive into all the specifics. So just try to see if the information already exists. So many places provide their nutritional information online, so you can go onto the restaurant's website or their online menu, or like, let's say, for example, someone makes a lasagna and you don't want to have to go in and do every single little ingredient. You can just go onto and do like Olive Garden lasagna one entry and try to log that in MyFitnessPal. So if you find nutrition info, you can go ahead and log the closest matching item and move on. You don't need to adjust every single small detail unless you feel like there is like a major difference. So that is just like a quick, simple thing that you can do. So step 2, so let's say, for example, the nutrition information is not available online. So this is, whether someone else is cooking or anything like that, or maybe the information isn't available online. So you can log a similar restaurant or app entry. So you can choose a well-known chain entry, a generic MyFitnessPal entry, or a comparable homemade entries. For example, if you get tacos, you could log a Chipotle or some sort of generic taco plate. If someone made a pasta dish, again, we go to that lasagna, a generic pasta dish with pasta sauce, a homemade burger. You can just go ahead and log just a standard burger entry. It does not have to be hard. We're just trying to get something in there. Find the closest match. Again, it's not also the lowest calorie option. I do want to let you know that. And then option 2, you can go ahead. I thought I paused all of my notifications. Sorry about that. Option 2, when no nutrition information is available, is you can go ahead and just break the meal into components. So again, we can continue with that lasagna example. So you could say, okay, it has ground meat, and you probably want to do, if that's great. You could do like a 90-10, you could do an 80-20, whatever it is. You could do pasta noodles, you could do mozzarella, Parmesan. You can track everything based on the components that you're eating. So this works really great for plates, bowls, casseroles, mixed meals, and really trying to figure out, okay, what are the proteins, what are the carbs, vegetables, fats, and log them separately. And so again, it is intention over precision. So even just a rough breakdown still builds in the awareness that is going to help you stay consistent and stick close to your calories and your macros. And then option 3 is just a visual portion estimates, and then you can go ahead and just log the proteins, carbs, and fats. And so this is kind of like macro only tracking. So this is great if you don't, like, let's say example, you go to a potluck, you go to a social event, you go and you have like a snack board, charcuterie, and like you don't want to have to log every single ingredient, because it's like 2 crackers, 2 pieces of cheese, like you can just have a general, like, okay, palm sized portion of protein, that's probably 20 to 30 grams of protein, handful of carbs, it's like probably 20 to 35 grams of carbs. Thumb size portion, 10 grams of fat. So you can do this and just log individual macros. And so you would just go into MyFitnessPal and you would type in protein, carbs, fats, and just do however many grams you think that you ate. And so a lot of tracking apps, including MyFitnessPal, which is typically what we use, have generic macro entries that you can use. And so we also want to take into consideration sauces, oils, cooking fats. So especially if you're not the one cooking the food, you almost always need to account for added fats. So restaurants, home cooked meals typically add a lot more butter, oil, sauces than you typically would if you were cooking yourself. So it's not bad, it's just part of why food tastes really good. So if a dish is visibly saucy or oily, you can just log an extra like 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil or sauces. And so cream-based sauces are generally a little on the higher fat end. And so if we're skipping sauces, this does create a little bit more of inaccuracy. It could also do sauces or what's the word I'm looking for? Like salad dressing, things like that. That creates a lot of inaccuracy over time. So remember, just like 1 or 2 meals here and there, not that big of a distance. So here are some final reminders. We don't want to skip logging just because you're unsure. We don't want to intentionally underlog to feel better, and we definitely don't want to restrict food the next day to make up for it, or labeling the day as good, bad, or like, oh, I blew it. And so this is just going to create more stress over time. So we really want to learn, even if it's not perfect, how to track foods that we didn't cook. And this is just a skill. It's not a pass or fail test. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, happy holidays and enjoy eating.